Thank you. 18 years ago, I was told by Detective Tommy DuRoy that one guy could not change the culture of Montgomery County. I like Tommy DuRoy, and Tommy was known as a truth teller, but in that instance, I feel like I made him a liar, and I've made him a liar for the last 18 years. When I started, there were only 3 associations that supported me. I've lived in Montgomery County my whole life, but I was not a Montgomery County local in the sense for law enforcement. I had the support of the Houston Police Officers Union, and I had the support of the Conroe Police Officers Association. And most importantly to me, I had the support of the Montgomery County Law Enforcement Association. And every term since then, I've been supported and endorsed by the Montgomery County Law Enforcement Association. I've since gone on for the last 18 years. I believe that I have made Montgomery County one of the most safest communities in the state of Texas to raise your children, to have a family, to go to church and worship, and live your life safely. I believe with y'all's help, I can continue on the mission that the Lieutenant Governor believes is the most important mission. In his words to me, and people ask me, why did I want to quit being the DA? And I didn't want to quit being the DA. What the Lieutenant Governor said is, I want you to do for the state of Texas what you've been doing for Montgomery County. With y'all's help, I'll continue to do so.
Thank you, sir. The first question is, what professional experiences have prepared you for this position? I know you just went over that.
That's all right. So I started here. My law enforcement career started here. I was hired by Sheriff Joe Corley. I worked night shift. It was me, Constable Hayden, Jason Salter, Chief Chris Smith, Ricky Doree, a whole host of people, Mike Moak, Sergeant Peace, Sergeant Stoll. So I started my career in law enforcement here. I left from here and became an intern at the Harris County District Attorney's Office, finished law school, became a prosecutor under Johnny Holmes. And I tell people I was a prosecutor in Harris County when it mattered, that consequences for criminal action. And in 1999, when Johnny Holmes retired, I went to the Houston Police Officers Union. A lot of y'all don't know that, but I spent a decade representing the men and women in law enforcement. Also did work for the Department DPS Officers Association, as well as the Harris County Criminal Deputies Association, or the Harris County Deputies Association. And so I'd spent that entire decade working for and on behalf of law enforcement.
Thank you, sir. Once elected, what goals do you have that will assist law enforcement?
Perfect. So I believe I was integral in the formation of the Michael Morton Act. I protested the Michael Morton Act because I felt that the Michael Morton Act would become a linchpin for law enforcement, and at the time more so than prosecutors. The terms and definitions for what's inculpatory and exculpatory do not exist. I believe the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals should be giving law enforcement more of a fair shot. You may not be aware of it, but if you have a spouse makes an allegation in a divorce petition of domestic violence, the question becomes, is that something that would be inculpatory or exculpatory that would hinder an officer's ability to testify? Those things should have been cleared out a long time before. Second thing that officers are probably unaware of is your qualified immunity that you have. Every bullet that you shoot out of your gun, every time you make physical contact with somebody comes with the potential for liability. Officers' qualified immunity is absolutely the thing that allows you to go and do your job. What is a reasonable amount of force to apprehend someone? Well, the courts tell us what a reasonable amount of force is, but if that force is unreasonable, but yet it's still within your qualified immunity, then there are no adverse civil consequences. Those protections that officers have continued to be eroded. And lastly, I do believe in a strong and robust protection for police officers from the types of retaliations that occur against officers that are within the performance of their duties.
Thank you, sir. Once elected, what will be your priorities in the next legislative session? What bills or legislation would you like to present or see revised?
I appreciate that. I think that every sheriff has already become a border sheriff in the sense that with illegal immigration. I've actually been to the border, prosecuted the human trafficking cases. I've done a capital murder in Del Rio. So obviously border security is number one. Number two, nobody wants to be taxed out of their homes. I know there's 2 young men whose dad actually owns their house out there, and yet Rowdy still has to put $670 a month aside. Property taxes are a real thing. The Lieutenant Governor has come away with a plan called the Double Nickel Plan, which is essentially start to attack the overpayment in regards to school taxes. It's something that I feel strongly about. And then lastly, I'd like to see legislation that dealt with social media and teens. In the same way that Australia has enacted it, I believe that all of our problems that we have as an adults, they all stem from bad parenting and bad children. And so I've said before, if I had one bullet and I could go back in history, do you go back and off baby Hitler, or do you take a shot at Zuckerberg? But because I know this is recorded, I won't reveal my final answer. But let's just say that I think social media is one of the ills of society. Mike Gutzman, and he's going to take credit for this, but it's something he and I have kicked around. We all know that Montgomery County needs a jail. Infrastructure and law enforcement across the state of Texas is lagging. Mike and I both believe that there's room for the state of Texas to offer no-interest loans for jails and for infrastructure for law enforcement agencies. And so those are the things that you're talking about, that you've got to be a guy that's already put people on death row. You got to be the guy that's already represented the police officers to be able to get into the weeds deep enough to where it has a significant impact on law enforcement.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any closing statements?
I think what I would like to say is the Montgomery County Law Enforcement Association represents a broad swath of people. And I believe in my role as the district attorney that part of my job was to communicate with everybody across the county. Part of the same job that I had as the district attorney was trying to become an influencer and not use pure authority. So how do you get 5 constables agencies, a sheriff's department, 27 municipalities, and 3 or 4 federal agencies to all do the things that help keep your community safe? It's that skill set that I have that I believe that I've learned here with the assistance of MCLEA and with the assistance of being a hometown guy. I believe it's going to make me successful as your next senator for Senate District 4.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your attention.
My name is Charlie Miller, running for State Senate District 4. I'm a normal, everyday working guy and a veteran that just wants to see some small business mindset and type of decisions made in Austin. You know, I own a tow company here locally, and I understand a little bit of what you guys go through, part of it, when being out on the streets and worried about getting run over and getting home and all that stuff. It's always in the back of your mind. But I want to take a small business owner mindset to Austin to make decisions that make sense, common sense rules that are easy to read, easy to understand, and easy to follow. Therefore, making them easy to enforce, like in your side of things. I want to make things easy and simple. Keep it simple.
Thank you. What professional experiences have prepared you for this position?
So I have worked with other owners. I've never been in politics before. This is my first foray. A buddy of mine called me and he said, Bubba, I think you jumped in both feet first. I said, well, I might have jumped in head first. I'm not sure just yet. I said, I'll let you know how it goes in a few weeks. And he wasn't wrong. But going into this, I have helped write policy that did not pass, but I've helped write policy in regards to towing and tow trucks, try to help make definitions that make sense to the people in the industry. Because if the people that are in the industry can't understand the rules that are supposed to follow, then it's very hard to abide by those rules.
Thanks, sir. Once elected, what goals do you have that will assist law enforcement?
So I would like to see any and all tools available to law enforcement that still abide by the Constitution. I don't think that law enforcement should be held back, with the exception of personal rights and within the bounds of the law. You know, there's times that you guys need to be able to get out there and go to work and get stuff done. You need to make decisions on the spot, and you shouldn't have your hands tied by policy whenever you need to make a life or death changing decision at the spot. I think that you need to be allowed to make those decisions and not have to, you should be able to rely on proper training and be able to make those decisions in a split second when you need to. I believe that there should be some information. So as a senator, I would like to get with sheriffs, the local sheriffs that are in the district, which is 5 sheriffs, and work with those sheriffs and other police agencies that are in the district and find out the weaknesses that they are facing, the shortcomings for their areas, and try to see what kind of state level help can be had for them, whether it's help in a jail or help on the street, whatever it is.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Once elected, what will be your priorities in the next legislative session? What bills or legislation would you like to present or see revised?
So when it comes to legislation that I would like to see, being a first-year senator, you're very unlikely to get much of anything passed. Unfortunately, it's the way that it goes. But I would like to see things in related that we've had some property tax come along. The governor's put out some stuff to help with property taxes. I would like to push that further. I would like to further expand for in-school training, for technical training in high schools, for maybe some CAD training for kids that test. Give them an ASVAB style test, see what the kids are good at. Don't just train them in just anything. So, well, here's some electives, go do that. Help start them out early so that kids, whether they're in the country or they're in the city, they can be a productive member of society and make a difference instead of going and relying on other things and possibly getting themselves in trouble.
Sir, the floor is yours for your closing statement.
Well, short, simple, and sweet, huh?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys this evening. Thank you for allowing me to come in. It's nice to see you guys. I really appreciate being here. And I really want to make a difference. I know what it's like to be out on the street. I know what it's like to go out, and I've been out there and been backup for a bunch of officers on the side of the road for that driver that wrecked out and was cracked out at the same time. And they got the adrenaline of about a 400-pound cat, you know, and it takes 6 of you to hold them down to try to put handcuffs on them. I get it. I know what it's like. I do not envy what you guys do at all. God bless you. Y'all be safe, and thank you for having me this evening.